I'm in Los Angeles, enjoying the beautiful weather, the fashion, the green, the eco, all the wonderful things that this city has to offer. And I'm speaking today with Taryn Hipwell from the Eco Divas, all about fashion and veganism and how we can be cool and hip but still have a really light footprint on the planet.
My name is Taryn Hipwell. I'm based in Los Angeles and I have a site called Eco Divas. Learn, laugh, share, and kick ass. And basically I want to give people the opportunity to learn fun things about eco. There's a lot of different things that I like to promote when it comes to eco-fashion. I love the idea of sustainability in the fashion industry, so not just paying attention to eco-fabrications, but also the process of where it's made, how far it has to be shipped in to actually be processed, and anything that has to do with the treatment of the people that are involved in the making of clothes. The other thing that's interesting is there's several different levels of eco-fashion, so you can do vintage, you can do repurposed, you can do vegan fashion, you can do specifically high-end eco-fabricated things like pea silk or recycled poly or hemp. And so just getting yourself familiar with all the different types of eco-fashion gives you a lot of variety whenever you're dressing yourself. Some of the fabrics that are being used that I started learning about were bamboo, which is questionable because of the actual process of making bamboo, but there are still some that are good. The ones that I really like are hemp, recycled plastic bottles. There's something called pea silk, where they actually let the actual silkworm live its full term and then they take the silk from it. There's also, which I found interesting, once I started working at FITM, some of the other teachers would tip me off as to coffee fabric or things made from milk threads or bacteria fabric. I know there's some of them that are kind of like weird and creepy and stuff, but then there's really interesting and fascinating ones too. I became a vegetarian because my whole life I was kind of the one that tried not to eat meat, but I lived in a home where it was you eat everything that's on your plate or you have to go to bed. So, you know, I basically had to eat whatever there was in front of me. And I also grew up in a family that was very much like Disneyland and McDonald's, and I still remember, you know, it would be like a family outing for all of us to go to McDonald's together, and it was really special. But as I went to college, I started babysitting for somebody that was homeopathic, vegan. I'd never, you know, experienced anything like this, like wood toys, no television, all of that, and it was so flipped everything that I had grown up with on its head. So it was interesting to go from living in the country and, you know, eating this way and then going to the city and learning how to eat a certain other way. And the neat thing for me is like I started to try the vegan cooking, and it was really good. And it was actually better than the crap that I was eating. So I started implementing it into my diet. So when I would cook for myself, I found myself, you know, cooking with a lot less meat and more veggies. And I've always liked veggies. Something that had started when I was about 11 years old, where I would ride horses and then come home and eat cows, and it didn't make any sense to me. I was a vegetarian for 5 years, and I started having some neurological issues and my hair started falling out. And also I was working on set, so when you tell somebody that you're a vegetarian, the first thing that they want to feed you is like grilled cheese or macaroni and cheese, and I don't really like cheese. I like pizza, but that's like the only thing that I like. And so I started to incorporate fish back into my diet, and even when I started eating fish, like I'm a twice a week fish eater. So I am vegetarian the whole other 98% of the time, but I feel like for me that's what works. And you know, I sometimes I'll try to take the fish out of my diet, and then I still, you know, I get the hair loss and I get the neurological things, and as well as I know how to eat, like that still works for me. And I develop my eating habits by different things that I read. So I actually read Skinny Bitch, and the greatest thing that I got from that was having just fruit for breakfast and nothing else. And it actually really does boost your energy level, and it keeps like your fiber level high and your digestive level, and it's just like it affects everything. I would have like the 4:30 lag, and that was gone. And it also helped me to like kick caffeine out of my diet too. As far as cool exists right now, for me and a lot of the women that I have around me, it's neat because I finally have found a group of people that have similar passions as me. So number one, we all want to be stylish and hot. None of us are willing to give up, you know, wanting to look super, super cool and fly. All of us are on this kind of like creative journey to find, like, still, you know, when you're in fashion and you like fashion, you still want to find the next best thing and the next cool thing and, you know, what's going on with the trends. So one of the tips that I like to share with people is is don't try to do everything all at once, because then it's just going to be overwhelming and you're not going to do it. So I always recommend for people to research things that they find fascinating and implement what they find interesting into their own diet. And especially with the idea of like veganism, you might find aspects of it that really are relatable for you and that you find interesting and that you can do and you can share. But maybe there's, certain aspects of it that may be a little bit too much, but it's still a goal that if you want to do something like that, that you can take baby steps and then eventually get there. Because if you try to do everything all at once, you're literally going to get overwhelmed and probably just cop out.
I wanted to show you this really cool hemp shirt that I'm wearing today. A friend of mine gave me this shirt over 5 years ago. It still looks fabulous, it's still stylish. If you could wear a shirt or a piece of clothing 5 years later, that's going to be super eco compared to going shopping every season for new clothing.
My website is EcoDivasTV.com and my name is Taryn Hipwell.